Okay, we are still waiting for Gumbo to join. Otherwise, I think Deborah is good to go. I wanted to say that we'll have a general introduction, but we'll use the chat button to do that. At the appropriate time, I will announce again. And for the panelists, I will also do block introduction. So I will introduce both of you at the same time. In sequence. Thereafter, I will invite. I think Deborah will come first. Your presentation is basically focused on the research and your recent output. The publication on regenerative agriculture. Then from Gumba's presentation, I said that we will be focusing on more of practice, what he's been doing in that space. So that's how it will run. Then we have about 20 minutes for questions and for us to respond to the questions. It's expected that we spend maximum of 90 minutes. So we'll start at 12 in Ghana. We should be able to
I was asking the minutes again. So I was going to check in how long each of us has to do the presentation. I think it's 45 minutes for the presentation, everything, right?
For both of you, yes. So if you can have 20 minutes, that would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me call Gumba again. I don't know why it's not joining. I think it's easy to join. Just click on the link. Hello, we are still waiting for you to join, please. Can you join now, please?
Yes, I'm trying to join.
Okay. We are waiting for you. Thank you.
I think we are live on YouTube already. So.
Oh, you saw him on YouTube? Oh, we are live on YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know that. Let me check. Oh, I see. Thank you. By the way, Deborah, did you communicate this to your network? And how many people are you expecting to join us?
From our side, I think my team is going to, I'm expecting my team to join.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. That's great. We have 1 minute to start, and we're just waiting for Gumba to join. Okay, go back. Hey, Gumbo, you are welcome. We're happy to see you. How are you? Can you just say hello to us? Yeah, okay,
hello.
Good. Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you, Wale?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for joining.
How is Dar es Salaam today? Are you in Dar es Salaam?
Yeah, I'm in Bagamoyo. It's very close to Dar es Salaam.
Great. Good to have you. I'm sure your network will also be joining this course now, right?
Yeah, the network is not much good, but yeah, we can do it.
Okay, good. Like I said earlier, this is just a form of housekeeping. I will do a general introduction of both of you, and Deborah will come first, then you follow in quick succession. Thereafter, we'll have the question and answer session. The program is expected to be concluded within 90 minutes. Okay, and just to announce that we're also on YouTube. So, so I start now in 1 minute, please. I'll show my screen. Okay, I guess you can see now, right? Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, everybody around the world. It's a pleasure to have all of us call today, this webinar call, organized by the Africa Circular Economy Research and Policy Network. It's a pain is a network of people who are interested in circular economy within the continent of Africa. We started operation in 2019, and we're happy to have this first webinar for the network this year. That's been coordinated by Footprint Africa and Bakofi in Tanzania. Footprint Africa is based, the representative is based in Ghana, and SAP is based in Ibadan, Nigeria. So we have people from different parts of the continent, Nigeria, Ghana, and Tanzania, but there are other people who have joined us from across the continent and even outside the continent. The topic for today's discussion is very germane for the citizen of the continent in terms of food. Food is sovereign, if I may say, it's basic and sovereign. And so we need to guide the type of food we consume in terms of safety and also the production processes that go into that. We have assembled two key panelists, as I mentioned in passing. we have the representative of Footprint Africa. Footprints Africa is an organization that is committed to circular economy in the continent, and therefore they have their name Footprints Africa. The person representing Footprint Africa is a friend. We've not met physically, but we have interacted since the last 6 months or so, that we started thinking about this. And I don't want to say her name, but let me first of all greet her. Now that I know she's from Ghana, from Cape Coast, I say Mama Waha. Mama Waha is, I think, good afternoon, and Akwaba, as we say generally in Ghana. Her name is Deborah Nate. She had her first degree in home economics, that's teacher education, that's from the Faculty of Education, that means, and she's passionate about circular economy and advocacy, especially research on circular economy in Africa. It should be a pleasure to have her on this call and to also share our experience with our wealth of experience with us. Footprints Africa just released a publication on regenerative agriculture. We did that in October last year, and on that basis that we invited them to share the experience from that publication with us. Also on this call today is another friend and colleague from Tanzania, is Gumba Majumbwa. Is a founder of Amba Coffee. I think coffee is usually in Ghana. Coffee people are from Ghana. It will tell us more why the name Amba Coffee is amalgamation of Ghana and Tanzania. But that say that he's passionate about circular economy and regenerative agriculture in the continent. And it's a pleasure to have both of them. And to set the ball rolling, I want to distinguished ladies and gentlemen to encourage us to use the chat button to put our comments and questions, and we also share some information with you through the chat button. So please keep an eye on the chat button. At the appropriate time, if you need to use your microphone, we ask you to unmute. But for now, in order to avoid distraction, we ask you to stay muted on your microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me with the first panelist. It's afternoon in Africa, everywhere in Africa now. I think it's afternoon from GMT 1+0 to GMT +3 in the afternoon. But if you are joining us from outside the continent, especially if you are from the Latin America, the North America, then you'll probably be in the morning session. And if you are from East, Australia, China, probably you'll be in the evening. So we welcome everybody. My name is Olawale Olaide, President of ISAPIN. ISAPIN is Africa Circular Economy Research and Policy Network, which is facilitated by Images Initiative. Thank you very much. Without much ado, I invite Deborah Nate from Accra, Ghana, representing Footprints Africa, to make our presentation. Our presentation focuses on the research aspect of regenerative agriculture. Deborah, over to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Wally, for the introduction. And I'm excited and glad to be here. Thanks to all the participants. Before I just go on, kindly confirm if you can see my presentation, because I want to avoid.
Yes, we can see your presentation, but it would be great if you can make it full slideshow.
Okay, so it's on a slideshow for me.
Full slide.
Yes, sure. It's on a slideshow for me, so I'm wondering why.
Why not from my? Okay, you can proceed. No problem.
Can someone else confirm if? Still not?
Yes, we can see it.
We can see it. We can
on a full slideshow.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So I guess Wally has already done the introduction, so I'll just get into the presentation. As Wally has rightly said, I'm from Footprints Africa, and at Footprints Africa, we are on a mission to we are on a mission to prove that businesses can be a force for good And so since our inception, we've been supporting businesses to improve their social and environmental impact. And over I think a little over 2 years, we decided to support companies in Africa to transition to a circular economy. Now we are aware that circular economy is not a new term in Africa, and so we are not doing that from a new place. We started by deciding to create a database of circular economy initiatives across the continent. And the intention was for us to build knowledge on, or maybe to put together in one place knowledge that already existed, and also to evidence what was already going on or what was happening in the continent. And then we can move from there. We also wanted to provide support to entrepreneurs and to businesses about the circular economy and how to, and also support new people to transition to a circular economy. So we'll be publishing our case study very soon. The aim was to have 500 cases in the database. We are going to publish that soon, so keep watching our space. What you are seeing right now is one place where the cases are housed. That is the Great Arundel map, a map we designed with Great Arundel, and the database also housed in the Knowledge Hub, where we have the cases on there. So we've produced 2 reports, like Wale said. The first one we produced was a snapshot on the concept of circular economy on the continent of Africa. We just wanted to share what we saw, what was happening. That was the first report. And then what I'm going to speak about is the regenerative agriculture report that we have produced recently. I think we launched that last year. So before I get onto it, I think one question we wanted to answer was what regenerative agriculture means. And I believe that is a topic that, especially in Africa, we should be concerned about, and a topic that we should want to take seriously. We've seen that it would mean so many things, or it meant so many things in different contexts, and different people were applying regenerative agriculture or the term in different contexts, in different places. But these were some of the meanings that we pulled from people that we've spoken to, and that was entrepreneurs, businesses, and farmers that we spoke to, and the cases that we collected over the period of the research, which meant improving soil health, increasing carbon capture, as you can see, increasing biodiversity and resilience, also promoting better treatment of people, not just about the business, but also
Deborah,
about
just
the
to let you
people.
know, your slides haven't changed on my screen. Still on the first slide for me.
My slides are moving. I wonder why that is happening.
Can you stop sharing the screen and come again, please? Maybe that way. Okay. Thanks.
This is interesting. Give me a minute. Let me share from online and see how that works.
Yes, while Deborah is trying to figure out to share her screen, let me also emphasize that we are on YouTube, so you can join us. And please feel free to introduce yourself via the chat button. Let us know where you joined us from, maybe your passion and interest in circular economy. Thank you.
I'm going to try to share from online. Kindly confirm if you can see this time around. It's now loading. Is it in the slide mode?
We can see it now. Yes, full slide show. Thanks.
Okay. But it's delaying to load. I wonder why this. Okay. Okay, so I've already moved from here, and this is the database I was talking about, the map I was talking about, and the reports we produced. So I was speaking about what regenerative agriculture means. Okay, so I'll just move on from here. So We also wanted to understand what the concepts of regenerative agriculture would mean in practical terms. And this image right here is a very good representation of what we wanted to communicate. So you would see we have three separate images. First one is a natural ecosystem which does not prioritize crop production. The second one, it prioritizes crop production but does not take into consideration all the other factors such as water quality and water flow regulations and all of that. But the third one, which is what we want to encourage and what we would want people to focus on, is a system that is focused on crop production, but also on the ecosystem and how to restore the ecosystem and its services. And that is how that image looks. So I wouldn't want to waste much time on that. We noticed from the research that across all the entrepreneurs that we spoke to and the cases that we were interacting with, there were challenges that cut across. We have highlighted some few, and that is what I'm sharing here. So we have that we have a challenge of a quick profits challenge in the agriculture and the food system, so that people are focused on getting to market quickly and making profits quickly. And so whatever it's going to take to do that, people are not concerned about the impact, the immediate impact or the future impact. They just want to focus on doing that. And so we have a lot of terminology around modernized techniques or modernized technology, which does not consider the local context, and whatever inputs we are trying to make affects the local context. And that is not so helpful. We also see a lot of waste in the agriculture system, right from the farm gate to the market. And that has not been helpful for the system. And these are things that we would want to consider if we want to have a regenerative system in the food and agriculture sector. We also see that the systems are siloed and fragmented so that people are focused on making success and profits for themselves. And so we are not seeing the general impact because everything is not coming together. And so we need to work out how we can have a central system which considers the impact of everything that is going on in the system and how that is affecting the present and the future. We also incentivize the wrong behaviors so that those farmers who get to the market quick are the ones who make the quick money. And so no one is concerned about how they are getting to make their money. And I think I would also speak about the financial system, which provides quick loans, and you're supposed to bring the money, quick loans expecting quick profits. And so farmers are having so much they are putting into their farming systems, and they need to make their profits back quickly because they have to go back and pay their loans. And so they have to do whatever they need to do to be able to submit or pay their loans or their profits or their debts. However, we've seen that in the midst of all of these challenges, there are some farmers that are focused on promoting good practices so that they are supporting the agriculture system for the present and for the future. And I'm going to highlight a few of those. We have, okay, that's what I was saying. So luckily we have one of those entrepreneurs that we interviewed on the session who's going to share, who is the second panelist. So he's going to share more about what he is doing. But I'm going to speak about Oko Forest. First off, Oko Forest is in Ghana. And Oko Forest, they realize that farmers are more likely to adopt regenerative practices if these are tied into financial security. And so what they decided to do was to create a step-by-step procedure for farmers to go through to be able to achieve a regenerative farming system. And they also providing all form of supports that the farmers need, like the common challenge farmers have with land acquisition. So they have leased a number of that's 85 acres of land, and they have subdivided that amongst local farmers. They train the farmers, they provide them with inputs, the right inputs that they need, and all other supports that they need. In the future, they are looking at providing or producing biomass fuel and biogas. So that is one good thing that we see happening. The second case I would like to talk about is from Tanzania. That's Amber Coffee. And Amber Coffee has also noticed the impact of, they have noticed the impact of degradation in the coastal areas in Tanzania. So deforestation and degradation has been affecting and has an impact on security of food in the country and also in Africa at large. And so to prevent that, they started mangrove restoration so that they could restore these mangroves. They've also implemented projects such as the tree planting for food and timber. And their intention is that they want to restore these degraded forest land spaces and mangroves and forests so that they can secure the food system in the country. They also want to improve the fertility of the soil and also the water table in the country, but by practicing agroforestry techniques. And the last one I will speak about is regenerative resources, sorry. So regenerative resources have also noticed the impact of the depreciation or the depletion of the coastal areas. So they've noticed that there are these unhelpful practices that goes on around the coastal areas, which affects the fish farming, it affects aquaculture, and it affects mangroves. And so they also intended to implement projects that will support these systems. And so they have started with the land restoration models where they are restoring mangroves, they are restoring the dry land and agroforestry and the sea water. They're also implementing agroforestry practices to support whatever they are doing. They are working in Mozambique, Namibia, Somaliland, and now they are Ghana to implement their projects. So I wouldn't talk much about this slide for time's sake, but we have noticed that there are many benefits that regenerative agriculture poses to the country or to Africa at large. And we think these things need to be highlighted. And so these are the insights that we're able to pull out from the reports that we've produced. And we see that the country has a youthful population. And so there is a need that we are encouraging most of the youth to go into agriculture and to make it smarter for them and easier for them to practice these agriculture and its models. We also see that there is a need to revalue the wisdom that already exists on the continent, because most of these regenerative practices are practices that local farmers or smallholder farmers are aware of, and they just lack the resources to implement them. And so we need to revalue these practices and encourage them, restore these practices so that, like we say in Ghana, Sankofa, they go back to what they already knew. We also need better data so that we can work based on data and not just based on emotions or what one person thinks or the other. And like I said, smallholder farmers really get what they are supposed to do. They just need the resources and they need the support and they need a push to be able to do that. And so we need to provide a system that supports smallholder farmers to be able to perform all of these techniques or to implement these techniques that exist. I don't think I can go through all of that, but the few I've highlighted, that is enough. For sake of time. And okay, now my slide is not moving. Okay. Sorry, the slide is not. Obviously, today is my day. Okay. But can you hear me, everyone? I can just get on. I'm on the live slide, so.
Yes, please.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay,
Yes,
the slide
yes.
is not moving, so I'll just speak without it. So we identified 5 action areas as from the research that we did. And these are what you can see. We believe that we need to rethink the bigger picture. We don't need to think about what the immediate success is, because that is what most farmers think about. What do I need to get to the market? What do I need to get right now? We need to think about the bigger picture. Who is being affected? What is being affected? What's the impact of whatever practices that we are implementing now? What's the impact on the food system? What's the impact on the animal production, fish production? What's the general impact? And then we need to build evidence and standards that are standards that can cut across, and then we can share these standards, because everyone currently is just working by themselves and doing what they think suits them best to get the returns that they need to get. We also need to shift policy and budget allocations so that people that are practicing the good practices are being supported and are being incentivized and motivated to do exactly what they need to do. Because right now, the budgets, we have example in Ghana, we have the country importing more of chemical fertilizers, which means that those who are producing the locally produced food, we even have them being incentivized, these chemical fertilizers being incentivized for farmers. And so if you want to stay away from these chemical fertilizers, then you cannot do so easily, because those who are getting these chemical fertilizers are being incentivized, and you want the quick wins and the quick benefits. We also need to think about the long-term impact of whatever we are doing, not to think of just the now, but the future. What's the impact of these techniques or practices on food security in the future of a future generation? And we need to promote intelligent and patient financing for the regenerative approaches that we are implementing, so that we know that regenerative practices or agroforestry and all the practices that are regenerative take time to build. They take time to grow, to succeed, these systems. And so we need loans that are supporting this patient growth and patient transition to a regenerative system, so that farmers are not in a haste to make back their profits or get back to the market and feed. Because in the end, what farmers need to do, or what people actually need to do, is to feed or to get their money back. I'll end by sharing this quote from one of the entrepreneurs that we spoke to, that there are no better ways to better our environment than by providing on-the-field experience and knowledge. And there is nothing more we need now than enhancing our natural assets. We just need to enhance our natural assets so that we can get the benefits of these natural assets that we have. These are our website and our emails. We are open for conversation and for collaborations around the projects and the works that we do. I would end here. I hope I didn't eat into Gumbo's time, and pardon my internet issues. Thank you, and I would end this way I end my presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Deborah, for the wonderful presentation. Quite on time, and we appreciate the work that you do at Footprints Africa. I think I cited Hugo on this call at the appropriate time. I know he will want to share some reflections on this particular topic. Yes, you have shared your insight about regenerative agriculture, why it's important to practice regenerative agriculture as opposed to conventional agriculture that is destructive, and the need to protect our natural resources, more importantly. And again, in the context of disruption globally and regionally, regenerative agriculture seems to give us a better pathway to sustainable development. Thank you very much. I'll call on the next panelists. Ugo, if you're there, yes, I can see you. You can start preparing to share your screen. I didn't introduce you earlier, perhaps some people just joined, so let me take this opportunity to introduce you again that you are from Tanzania and that you have an organization that is called Amba Coffee. You will tell us more why Amba Coffee and not Amba Tanzania, because coffee is usually associated with Ghana or Ghanaians. And Gumbo studied in Tanzania and also studied in India. I'm sure you will be bringing experiences from these two continents in Tanzania and India, and is passionate about community-based restorative agriculture, vis-a-vis farming, fishing, and forestry. So he navigates these two three enterprises to ensure that there's restorative agriculture in Tanzania. Gumba, if you're there, can you share your screen? If possible.
I was thinking that you will help me to learn the screen.
To do that. Okay, let's see if we can do that. But otherwise, we will have loved that you do that from your end. Because I can't even share from my end, so that's a challenge.
Okay.
So, but can you share from your end if possible?
Okay. Let's wait.
Okay. Otherwise, you can speak extempore, then we can share the presentation with presenters later. I mean, with participants later. Or Deborah, can I send it to you, Gumbo, to share?
Okay. So, I know mine. I don't know why mine cannot be trusted. I can try.
Yes, let me send to you now the WhatsApp. If you can navigate there, that will be fine. Maybe while we're trying to settle that, let's take some time to take some questions.
It's right. Yeah. It's learning to it's learning to open.
It's trying to open. Okay, that would be great. Let's explore that opportunity to access it, please. Hugo, can you just share some reflection with us while waiting for Gumbo to share his screen, please? I think Hugo is still here. Yes. Just some reflections on the presentation.
Hi, Wale.
Hi, Hugo. How are you doing? Let's see your face. Let's see your face.
Right. I will put my camera on.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm very interested, more interested, I think, by the comments that they have that we're getting from participants in the event.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Maybe I think to put this work into a little bit of context. So Debs has outlined what we're trying to do in Footprints Africa with accelerating the transition to the circular economy across Africa. And the importance of that. And so it was quite natural that we chose regenerative agriculture as the theme for our first, if you like, deep dive report into the circular economy. And I think Debs has done a very good job at setting out what the some of the things that need to be done to create the enabling environment for regenerative agriculture to take on a more prominent role in food systems in Africa. We're working, I think, in a number of areas to try and make that more operational. For example, we are a technical member of the African Circular Economy Alliance, and in particular the food systems working group, which has just gotten underway. I think we're very interested to, one of the things with our work that we're always very conscious of is that we are talking about a continent of 54 countries and undoubtedly fall into the problem of making massive generalizations, particularly in we're talking about agriculture and food systems where the diversity is so significant across the continent. And so I think we're very interested to receive feedback and questions which help us contextualize that a little bit more, and which enable us to tell more concrete stories to help achieve that objective of making circular and regenerative business models more mainstream.
Yeah, thank you very much. But you have not shown us your face. We wanted to see your face. Okay. If Gumbo is ready, Gumbo, are you still there? Can you share your screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but we can see your screen yet.
My PowerPoint is still running.
It's running?
It's still running. It didn't open yet.
Oh, it didn't open yet. Okay. Okay, I think we have it. Deborah is.
I'm trying to, and
yes.
just this one cannot be trusted.
No, it's fine. If you can make a full slideshow, that would be great. Otherwise,
trying to do that.
Yeah. Oh, great.
I think it's not showing well.
Yeah, it's not showing fully. Yeah, but I think it's fine. It's fine. We can navigate this together.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we are grateful to you, Deborah. Yes, that's what things are meant to do. Yes, go ahead, Deborah.
I'd like you to be invited to this session today. My name is Gumbo Majubwa, as Olewale introduced me. I'm the founder of Amber Coffee Organization. Organization started in 2017, and why the name Amber Coffee? Here in the coastal area of Tanzania, we had the which is known as the Afzelia kwanzensis. The Afzelia kwanzensis is a hardwood species, or it's a mahogany species, which is growing very slowly. The coastal people, they call it Mbamba coffee. Other tribes, they call it Mlamba coffee. So we omit letters M and L, and we take the following letters from A. So we come out with the name Amber Coffee. So that's the story behind the establishment of Amber Coffee. And our vision is we want to see nature paying back real paying and fortune for investing in agroforestry. That if people they can take their time to invest in agroforestry, at the end of the day, they'll be getting payment and they'll get fortune, because this type of farming is not like the conventional or the modern farming systems, whereby you can grow your crops and harvest after 3 or to 6 or to 1 years. But the agroforest is like a long term. It's like a kind of farming system which includes crops as well as trees. And our mission, we are practicing agroforestry to generate a community with passion for the forest and the natural environment. That's our mission. So next, hello Deb. Next slide, please.
Yeah, I am going, but it's not moving. Okay. I guess it has given up on me. Sorry. Going to try again. Is that the next slide?
Sorry?
Is that the next slide?
I didn't see the next slide.
You can't see. I'm sharing. Can anyone else see?
I'm
Yes.
still
Yes.
I'm still in the
Yes, we can see the
yes.
screen. But Gumbo has not responded, so we don't actually know if you're seeing what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see now.
Okay, it's kind of half, not like slashed on the ends.
Yeah, is it possible to exit full slideshow? Maybe that would be better.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like some.
Okay, let me try that then.
Yes, this should be better.
Okay.
So in this presentation, we are decided to take the hello?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, the development goals, and we are why we are decided to take these goals, and because our organization Coffee, since it's dealing with the saving with the nature and the forest of Tanzania, we support with the small scale holders, farmers. We are decided to see or to pass through this development goals. One, talking about the poverty, but it seems that there's farmers and fishers are more in the poverty line than any other groups. And in the second one, about the zero hunger, it seems that more people are affected with hunger, especially small-scale farmers and the fishers community, although they are the one who engaged in farming practices. And the next one is about 43% of agricultural workforce are dependent on women. Women, they are the one who are working every day in the farm, and they're the one who are they make sure that production to their families are successful. Also, it seems that agriculture is the one who contributed to the greenhouse gases. About 24% of greenhouse gases is caused by agriculture. So agriculture is a source of eutrophication. When the rain coming, it washes all the chemicals, fertilizers, the insecticides, the herbicides to the water sources. So it's the ocean, the lakes, and the rivers, they are the one who affected with the agriculture activities. Since chemical fertilizers, herbicides, insecticides, they are taken away from the land to the water bodies. But 62% of IUCN, this is International Union Conservation for Nature, is threatened by the by agriculture due to the expansion of the land for farming activities. Also, the species are being under the threats. But also, it's about 700 million hectares of agriculture worldwide are degraded until today. So we are trying to see or to find out how these development goals they are not achieved up to this moment due to the fact that agriculture is the one posing very high threats to the goals, especially the conventional agriculture, whereby chemicals, fertilizers, the machineries are well established and used. So next slide, please. So here we have a question: what to choose? Have we to choose economic growth or environmental sustainability? It seems that both are depending to each other. We can't live without agriculture, but also we can't sustain if our environment is not sustainable. So the answer is just practicing the regenerative agriculture, because it's like a way which is collective for the supporting the soil, which is support the water system, especially the water management, and also supporting all the natural farming systems, whereby things like mulching can be applied to save the nutrients and humus in the ground. And also, by doing regenerative agroforest technologies, trees and crops based, whereby they are involved in. So systems like intercropping, beekeeping are be applied in the system rather than the conventional agriculture, whereby monoculture system are the one which is taking place. So to save our environment, the regenerative agriculture is like an answer for the modern way of living, because it's like working to support the environmental sustainability, because it involved the planting of the trees, conservation of the forest, conservation of the water sources, and the use of the manure to make sure that the soil is fertile to give more health food. Next slide. So according to today's session, it's like based on the business opportunities from regenerative agriculture. For the regenerative agroforestry, whereby our coffee is implementing here in Tanzania, we are trying to make that the production of timber is like sustainable. We don't want to see that when we are supporting the community, they are not harvesting all the timbers that they are planting today, but they have to harvest in a sustainable way so that other trees can support the environment, other trees can support the soil, the water sources. And also we want to make sure that logging and the poles for building or construction activities are also harvested in a sustainable way. But also beekeeping to get honey is very much working in the area whereby there is a availability of trees in the forest. Also, the system can offer us fruits, cereal crops, tubers, spices, vegetable, legumes, and herbs. But also agrotourism, which is one source of producing the income for the communities. Because when we have this kind of partnership with forestry and crops, people, they can be motivated to see how the food they eat are introduced, how the food they are getting to their market, they are produced. So doing tourism to the farms, to the forest area, give them the room to learn more about the system of the agroforestry and the regenerative agroforestry, how it works. The second opportunity for the economic of the regenerative farming in Africa is we want to strengthen the health food processing sector. Without having the health food processing sector, it's like continuing the food which is insecticide and fungicides. So if we have the health food system whereby preservation technologies, promoting regenerative agriculture products can be hired, we can get our food system in a way that can support the health of the people in the community. But also we can see that here we want to make sure that there is a supply chain of health food from the production area until to the last consumer, without making that chain not working, so that it can support the consumers at their entire life without being engaged or going back to the conservation to the types of food which is supported by the chemicals. But also we want to add value to the agroforest products. Here we are supporting the local communities, but we teach them or train them that in the future, in order to generate more incomes, they have to add value for their agroforest products. For example, if they harvest honey, they make sure that those kind of honey sell it in the more higher price. But also we want to guarantee fresh farm food delivery. So the production site until to the last consumer, we have to make sure that there is a good delivery of this health food from to be fresh until to the last consumer. Also, we want to create customer base, because without having the customer base, farmers, they can see that their effort is like not paying them the more rewards. So if we have the customer bases, we are make sure that this kind of product will be bought by all of our customers. And also we want to make sure that we're blending the regenerative agriculture produce. Without having the blend, people, they cannot differentiate between the regenerative agriculture products and the other types of conventional agriculture products. Next slide, please. But the other opportunity around our working areas is like we want to innovation of developing natural farming inputs. This opportunity can be done with other stakeholders, not only Amba Coffee, but also other stakeholders who they see that this is a room for them to make money, this is room for them to make kind of employment by making sure that they can bring manure or compost to the farming area, but also they can make some kind of seaweed manure or seaweed supportive for the soil and the crops. So here we can see that there is different ways whereby natural system can work or can implement so that crops can be harvested without using pesticide, without using insecticide, without using other kind of chemical fertilizer and so on. So here we want to see, we want to show for the audience here that employing this kind of technologies can reward more sustainable food production, but also protect our environment, the water bodies, the soil, and the other environmental areas. Next slide. And the fourth opportunity is that we want to make sure that there is a communication and infrastructures to technologies around the rural areas, which can connect rural between the rural areas, but also which can connect rural and urban without having the affordable communication and infrastructure technologies. It is like working hard, and at the end of the day, all our crops will be ending in the farm. So if we have good road network, but also communication system like telephone, people, they can make business through this kind of communication. And now people, they can still working in their farm, but also they can feed people in the town or urban area without moving, but they can make sure that there's a sustainable movement, the career system from taking their produce, farming produce from the farm to the market. So we want to make sure that also we intervene in education. Here we have to intervene in two ways. First of all, we have to educate the consumers, people who use this kind of regenerative agriculture produce. They have to know that this kind of food is helpful for them, so that they can be away from other unnecessary diseases. And we have to educate also the farmers, because it is very hard to change from the as usual way of farming, whereby they implement farming by using the fertilizers and other chemical inputs. So we have to educate them by showing in practical way. That's why we have this kind of farming, or this kind of modern farming in some villages. We want to make sure that people, they can learn from that kind of projects. And also people, they can realize that selecting the generative agriculture is the environment than using the chemical agriculture way. But also we have this beneficiaries network, whereby we want to see that our beneficiaries, they have building a kind of network which support each of them. For example, we have 2 villages, but people, they are scattered in different areas. So this kind of network will make them together, so that they can share their common problems, they can share their successful stories, and also they can share even if their produce is low, they can share to make sure that a certain amount of product is going to the market. So that is kind of beneficial network system. In the last opportunity, we see that we are lucky, since we have the land resources in our area. Tanzania is a large country, and still most of the area is not used by farming. So although in the past they were forests, but now they are degraded, and you see that's like savanna. So this is an opportunity to make sure that we bring back the natural system of the forest and the other kind of trees in this land. But also we have human resources, smallholders, and the fishing communities. These are the important groups for us, because without them we cannot. So by working with this kind of groups, we are now today rejuvenating our land, our degraded land. We are rejuvenating our mangrove areas, since the fishing community, they realize that without having mangrove, healthy mangrove in their surroundings, they cannot produce, or they cannot get more fish. But also the smallholders, they have to realize that without having the health soil, without having the health environment, forest, they can facing the climate change effects, like the drought and so on. But also we have another opportunity, which is the population growth, and especially the young group. So the population growth can be the labor workforce for our project, but also the buyers, or the users of our products. So if we have the supportive population grows, the rural people, the smallholder farmers, they can make their food or their earnings or their earning of income, because they are assurance that when we are producing this kind of regenerative agroforestry products, there's some people who they can buy it. But also, thankful to our government is supportive to support the non-profit organization like ours, and we are happy that even if we are going to the village, they can support our efforts. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is our last slide, and here we have quotation. Our quotation, it says that if one regenerative agroforest is good, how about the dozen of them all neighboring each other? The concept is that if we are in the forest, this is not good and not supportive. But if there is a chain of villages, all of them supporting regenerative agriculture or agroforest, make sure that in the future we'll be having the food forest in our communities. Thank you very much. Down there we have our email and our website. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gumbo, for the excellent presentation. We do appreciate the time you have taken to prepare this, and we thank you for also creating time to make the presentation at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have listened to two presentations. We had the first presentation from Footprints Africa on their recent research outputs on regenerative agriculture, and you have just listened to a practitioner in the field of regenerative agriculture. Let me share this background. When I shared this call, about the meeting on different platforms, somebody responded that he doesn't have land. How can he practice regenerative agriculture? He doesn't have the space. He lives in the city of Lagos, mega city, we call it. It is actually. And there's another response on this chat. I actually want engineer Kehinde to use the microphone to ask a question. But first, let's address this issue. And I want a response from Deborah and Gumbo on this. Maybe Deborah will start first. Do you need, how much space from your research do you think you require to practice regenerative agriculture? The opinion from this person is that I stay in the city, there's no much space to practice regenerative agriculture, unlike when you have space when you live in a village where you are expanse of land and forest areas that are choosing to plant to practice regenerative agriculture. What will you say, or what would be your advice to a city dweller? Over to you, Deborah, then I'll come to Gumbo. I need Gumbo to take some water to refresh. Yes. Deborah, you stay there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I guess this has been an issue, but recently it's an issue that is being sorted or solved by a lot of people. So we have what we call the urban farming. I know most of us may have heard of it, and you don't need so much space to be able to implement certain farming practices or to be able to make food in your backyard, where you can make food, you can grow food stuff in containers, you can grow food stuff in bags. So making it very easier and simple to grow foods. I think currently in my workspace where I work, we have a farm at the office where what's the name? They've made farms in boxes. They've grown food in boxes. and they've used it to decorate somewhere in the office. And so it's serving as some art piece of decoration, and it's also a way to grow food for people. So that's what I have to say to that.
So
that's what someone just said, soilless farming.
Just soilless
farming. So
farming.
many examples of that, yeah.
So you are submitting that you don't need too much space. If you have a space to sleep, you can actually have agriculture. If you have a space to work, you can also have regenerative agriculture.
And to a large extent, it could also you could also consider, or it could consider what exactly you want to produce and at what quantity, or but that would not be an issue if we were all having this small bucket gardens in our homes to provide us the little things that we day to day we need on our daily for our daily feed.
Yes, at least you can plant spices, vegetables, and other things. Okay, thank you very much. I think from there we're also encouraging gardening essentially. You can also plant on the roof of your house if you have something like a balcony or any little space around the house would be good. Okay, and can use different media. You can use wooden material. You can use even cartons. You can use buckets. You can use any form of plastics, and to just hold the little soil that you need to be able to plant. There's also this idea of vertical farming that people also, so it doesn't need much space. Thank you very much. Gumbo, I want to come to you now. As a practitioner, you seem to be advocating a lot of space, but in this case, we don't have space in the city. What will you advise?
Thank you very much. My advice is that the good thing that, first of all, I'm not buying any kind of vegetable at my home because I have a little space, but I use this bucket. I use the plastic drums to grow the vegetables, and there is a certain slide there. You can see the turmeric, which is grown in the plastic drum. So I advise people that they have no need to produce more. If you want to produce something just to eat for your family, maybe 2 to 3 different varieties of vegetables. If you have a much little space and you want to plant trees, maybe you can select very few trees, maybe 1 mangoes, 1 guava, and maybe 1 bananas. So 2 by 2 meters, they can.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you are saying that you should have a garden around the house, especially if the premises is yours. But if you are living in a rented apartment, that would be difficult. And I think that also boils down to our planning in Africa. I think in terms of the built environment, the urban regional planner should be able to come up with ideas on, if you are having your house, what are the things you should have around the house, not for your sake alone, but for the sake of the environment and for the sake of the planet. You need to be regenerative in what you do. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Maybe another advice: if the community around the area, whether it's urban area, but we have maybe the primary school around, secondary school around, those institutions have some areas space whereby the community can organize themselves, approaching the school organization, maybe start the garden to feed the students, to feed the community around the area. So people, they can grow their vegetables in the public.
Thank you for that. I think I'm familiar with that type of arrangement, especially in Ghana, where you have school feeding program. The community where the schools are located, the parents, especially who are predominantly farmers, encourage or come to these established school gardens, and also from their own farm. When they harvest, they bring those things to the schools to be able to support the school garden program, I mean, school feeding program. I think we should all work together cooperatively to ensure that we sustain the environment while maintaining growth, while satisfying other social needs like education, health, as you also mentioned. Engineer Kehinde, are you still there? I would like you to ask your question directly to the panelists, please. You can unmute, sir. Is it still there? Engineer Kehinde, please. Okay. Oh, it seems he left. But let me try to echo his question. It said that regenerative agriculture is good. I'm paraphrasing. But there seems to be problems with break even. It seems not to be as profitable as conventional agriculture, where you use a lot of external inputs. Do you agree with him? And if you disagree, how do you disagree? Yes, Gumbo, please. From a practitioner point of view, then I'll come back to that. Deborah will respond to. Yes. I see the hand of Rafael, but today I'll come to you, sir. Let's Gumbo respond to whether you can break even with generative agriculture. Gumbo, are you still there? Okay, Deborah, you can jump in.
He's speaking, but he's on mute. So.
Okay, Gumbo, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. So my response that I'm sure that you can make it like even with regenerative forestry or agriculture. Because first of all, this type of farming is not taking much cost in the manure. It's not taking much cost in the machinery because you will not use it. Because the area will be covered with some trees and other types of crops, perennial crops. And so you will minimize the cost of running the farm or the project. Rather than the conventional farming, you can see that you can harvest more, but in reality, you have also to dig in the more costly, because in the conventional farming, whether you are harvesting so big, but at the end of the day, you will spend so big also in preparation of that farming. For example, you have to hire the tractor, the machinery system, the planters, you have to hire the chemical fertilizers, the pesticides, the fungicides, the insecticides. All of this, they are taking a lot of money. But when you come back to the regenerative system, the minimum cost of running the project is very high, because you can use maybe the compost from the landfills. Today in Africa, we have a lot of food waste, whereby you can change it to the. So we have livestock keepers. There is a lot of cow down there. You can use it and apply it in your farm and minimize much of cost. And and other kind of nutrients which is supportive to the farm can be supportive to support this kind of regenerative farming. So I think this type of farming also can break even, because you can use minimum cost, but you can, even if you can get the lower production, but also you can sell it in the high cost, because you can educate your customer that this kind of product is natural, didn't use chemicals, didn't use fertilizer, didn't use the fungicides, so it's safe for their health, and people, they can decide to buy it for even the higher price, because they are looking for their health. rather than taking for the chemical food, where at the end of the day, they have to end in the hospital and then to be more in cost for the treatment.
Yes, thank you very much. What you are saying in a nutshell is that regenerative agriculture is leading to organic agricultural production, and organic agricultural production has a premium. But we know that in Africa we don't have much farms that are certified as organic farms. I think that is another thing we need to do. We need to work on to ensure that farms are certified as organic farms, and you can get to any supermarket and say you want organic produce, and you will be able to get. Unlike in Europe and in US and other places where you have the premium on organic products, and therefore the pricing and the profit around it will be much clear. But here, as one of my professors say, we practice organic farming by default, in that we don't use much chemical, but again, we still sell like conventional produce. So I think that is the dilemma, because we don't have regulations for certifying produce as organic products. Let me come to Deborah from the research point of view. Have you been able to work out some things in terms of these investment ratios to be able to say that organic or regenerative agriculture has a better pay? Deborah, over to you.
Okay, thank you. I mean, what can I say after the expert has spoken? But I think this has been can I say a bone of contention as to what people consider regenerative or not, whether it means stopping or avoiding the use of chemical resources, or using it partially, or using it at regular, what's the name? Using it at specific times. So I guess it would all come down to what the impact is. It would all come down to what we want, what outcome we are looking for, what we want to see. Because I've had an interaction with a farmer, lady who owns a farm, and she was all about, no, we cannot stop it totally. We can just use it and use it well, use it by the rules and regulations, and we'll be fine to go. And that's her argument she's making on that side. And we can keep going on and on about these arguments about what's right and what's not right. But if we come to the table and think about what is good for the local context, what impact do we want to make, then we can now think about what we need to do that would work for us, that would work for everyone, instead of thinking about just the benefits. And we also need to remember or keep in mind that these lands that we want to apply regenerative agricultural resource techniques, or we want to avoid using chemical fertilizers, may have been depleted for a very long period of time. And so it would take a very long time, or it takes some time for us to restore them to their normal states. And so what does that mean for a farmer who has to wait for that long? Then we can now start speaking about the patient's capital, which I spoke about in the presentation. And then we can speak about fair transition. What does the transition mean for a farmer if they have to abruptly stop using chemical fertilizer? Then we can start having those conversations. But in the end, we need to talk about what the impact is going to be, who's going to suffer, and what outcomes we need to see. Then we can make the calculations from there. I don't know if that's clear enough, but we definitely need to harmonize land use or nature and people, the relationship between them, so that we are getting the benefits that we need to get from both sides. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can get from your submission that we need to balance landscape, livelihoods, and livelihoods of people. So it's critical. And also take the idea of just transition. The land that is degraded, it will need a lot of time to be able to restore it. But in the meantime, when you are doing that, one of the arguments, because there are a lot of arguments for and against regenerative agriculture, one of the arguments for conventional agriculture is that the land that is degraded, you will need a lot of time to regenerate. So, and even the fertilizer you are applying is for the soil. Fertilizer is absorbed as nutrients. So the soil need the nutrients. They don't really need the fertilizer. They are absorbed as nutrients, and you need the nutrient from these fertilizers. So there are a lot of arguments. Dr. Babatunde, Professor Babatunde, you have been raising your hand frantically. Can you now unmute and ask your question, please? Sorry for keeping you waiting, but we needed to address those issues. Professor Babatunde, please. Can they unmute yourself and ask your question or comments or suggestions? Right. Okay, it's coming on. Professor Babatunde, are you still there? Okay, maybe his hand is frozen. I don't know if there's anybody in the audience who would really like to. I saw two hands raised. Let me see if I can pick any other question from the chat button.
There's Kayode too.
Oh, there's Kayode.
Yeah.
Kayode, please go ahead. Yes, Kayode, I see your hand now. Kayode, kindly unmute yourself and let's have your comments or question, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the wonderful presentations by the two people. I just want to comment on just a little on the issue of breaking even and
Kayode, please. Hello, Kayode. Can you just introduce yourself, your location, perhaps, and your interests, and then ask your question? Thank you. We want to meet you.
My name is Kayode Oguntoye. I'm an alumni of Center for Sustainable Development, Ibadan, and I majored in Masters in Development Practice. Presently, I work for IIT. I work with IITA and also an NGO in Ondo State, and I'm also a co-founder of one of I think I'm also an NGO too, a social enterprise named Idoti. What we do in Idoti is majorly we transform waste, organic waste, into livestock feed, into protein biomass using the black soldier fly technology. And what we do is to train households on how to sort their waste. We pick the organic waste and we use this we recycle it using the black soldier fly, and it gives us good protein that we can use to feed our livestock. And that's what I do. That's what I do. And it's part of circularity. It's part of the circular economy. And that's why I'm so much interested in circular economy, because it's a way forward. That's the way to go. So I want to just make a comment on the idea of breaking even from the practical aspect, from what we've seen with farmers. I've been able to work with farmers who have been into organic farming for some time, and we've been able to compare to see breaking even. And I think one of the things, though, Doctor, you've been able to balance it up, but just a little comment on that. What we've seen from those who are on the field is that they might not break even in the first 2 years, 2-3 years, but after that, definitely, they will definitely break even. And the reason is because, the issue of regenerative farming talks about using the waste from one also to feed to use as raw materials for others, whereby you can have your water from your fish farming, helping you to water for your irrigation and things like that. Then when you use your waste from your animals to fertilize your field, the first few years, it might be cumbersome because you have truckloads of waste of manure that you have to, bring into the farm. And that's expensive. compared to just having your fertilizer that you can just buy 50 kg, at 7,000 naira or 14,000, depending on where you are. But when you do that, it will get to a point that you might not need to buy, fertilize that much, and the yield you get is going to actually. So you found that at the third to fourth year, surely you're going to be breaking even. In fact, your yield will be far more than anyone who has been into the conventional what's it called. Now you'll be doing your input will be less, while your output will definitely be more using the regenerative agriculture. And it's a way to go forward. It's for as many who is looking into it, please, it's a way to go for. It's a way to go. One, it's good for us, for the humans. It's good for the environment, and it's good for sustainability. And that's just my own submission.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kaode, and thank you for flying the flag of University of Ibadan and especially Center for Sustainable Development. I think from its point, what I can emphasize from there is that, yes, you can break even, but it takes some time. And that's why we talk about just transitioning in regenerative agriculture. I saw the comment from Dr. Senior Bola Omitoyi. Ma, would you like to use your microphone and speak to to us directly? Maybe you share your experience.
Okay.
From your practice, yeah.
Thank you very much. Are you hearing me? Am I with you?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you very much. I want to believe that the issue of organic agriculture, excuse me, is actually critical when it comes to health issues. But the people you have not fed, excuse me, just a minute. The people that are battling with hunger may be willing to satisfy that need first. And when you talk about organic agriculture, it's more expensive than the regular agriculture that we have. So not too many people may be able to afford that. So there should be a strike or a balance. Sincerely, it takes a longer period for people in organic agriculture to break even. And then they have targeted markets. Organic agriculture for now may not be for everybody. So if you know you are interested in keeping healthy, you must be willing to pay more for products that is coming out of organic or regenerative agriculture. But if you know your pocket is lean, like we have to look at battling with food and nutrition security, then we still have to deal with maybe utilization of organic fertilizer, because the yield actually per hectare is higher when you compare with what you are looking at during when you are using maybe organic agriculture and things like that. Then in more sane environments, the market is stratified. When you want organic products, you know where to go to, even in the same supermarket. But if you are not careful in Nigeria, we don't have distinct markets. And so when somebody is in Bodija market, for example, and says that his own vegetable is more expensive, people don't value it. And so people that are into regenerative organic agriculture, I think should begin to think of having a specialized market. And I think people in that area, in UI, around UI, they have places where you can buy products that are basically organic. Thursday's market, for example, and I think I saw another stand in front of Jaja Clinic and things like that. So we want to encourage many more people, but let them know from the beginning that one, their products are specialized products and it's for targeted markets. Two, we cannot depend on organic agriculture for now to feed the teeming population, because the cost of raising or the cost of having organic agriculture is still high. Number three, the production per hectare from organic agriculture may not be able to sustain the need of the populace for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those submissions on the benefits of organic agriculture and the need for just transition from organic agriculture, from conventional agriculture to organic agriculture. Those points are well noted. Thank you very much, ma'am. I called Professor Babatunde earlier. He just sent something that is back now. Professor Babatunde, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Are you back now? I know you should experience some challenges. Yes. Happy to have you. Go ahead. It's your comments or questions, sir.
Okay, yes, I already sent my comment on the chat box, but nevertheless, let me go ahead and ask my question. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Professor Babatunde, and I am from the Department of Agricultural Economics, University of Ilorin. Thanks to the presenter for the nice presentation. I am in the middle of another meeting, which Dr. Wale knows very well. We are in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire together, and but I'm interested in the topic of is this concept we know as organic agriculture. And I said, because now we have different concepts, different type of agricultural practices. You have sustainable agricultural practices, you have hydroponic, soilless agriculture, and the rest of them. So I want to know whether this is the same as organic agriculture. And if it is not exactly the same, what are the differences and similarities? And following from this, I also want to know if African farmers, for instance, are prepared to transit from the conventional to regenerative agriculture. Knowing fully well, as the last speaker said, that cost is very costly, and also other challenges of acceptance by the consumer, who are basically, majority of them are poor. In a way, somebody was already saying that in advanced country, the issue is now safety of their food system. You know, that's because they have walked past the issue of quantity, and now they are talking about quality. But in Africa, we are still struggling with the issue of quantity. You know, making sure that majority of the farmers are fed the required calorie first before we talk about quality calorie. And so, what are going to be of acceptance of these products that comes from majorly poor individuals in Africa now? And you know, let the presenter at least talk a little bit about these issues. Thank you very much for allowing me to ask this question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. We do appreciate your contribution. I will now call on the panelists to respond to this. Perhaps that will be the last set of questions we will take because of our time. We promised 90 minutes, and it's about 90 minutes. Deborah, would you like to go first?
Okay, thank you. I'll try around it. I think we have people who are labeling organic, and that in itself or that alone cannot qualify as regenerative, because you need to meet certain criteria and other standards. We can say, just saying that I'm organic, I'm not using I'm not using chemical fertilizer, it's not just what we want to see, but we want to see how can we replicate processes and systems so that they are transcending just the present systems that we have, and they can help solve future challenges of food insecurity. And so how is your system feeding into other systems that exist, so that, okay, you are producing food, what is the waste, what's happening to the waste, what happens to the food after it's produced, where does it end up, what's the impact on other systems? That is, all of these things needs to be thought of, but we have people just saying organic and that is it. We can see the example of Amber Coffee. It's not just ending at, oh, we are producing fruit from not using chemicals, but there are other factors. They are restoring the systems and the ecosystem and all of that, and that is being considered. So that is what we should know, and I think that is what can be the difference between what is organic and maybe what is regenerative. And I think I would have wanted to use the term sustainable, but that word has been thrown around a lot. So I cannot use just sustainable, but it should also be kind of resilient and be able to, can we replicate it in other places? Can we expand this solution? And how, all of those things have to be considered. And on the issue of we not being able to solve the quality, the quantity aspects of food production, I think we have been able to solve that issue of quantity, but we have a lot of loopholes and losses that happens from food waste right at the farm gate and also in the markets, because we produce a lot, but we also waste a lot because we are not able to preserve whatever we are producing, or we are not able to protect whatever we are producing from going waste or from rotting, or it's not able to get to the users in time. And so it's also getting wasted. And so all of these things or all of these systems are part of it when we talk about regenerative. So what happens to the food after it is produced? It doesn't end there. How do we even save it so that we are not wasting more land to produce food just so we are coming to waste it? That all of these things or all of these factors needs to be considered. So that the key thing we need to be thinking, we also need to be thinking about is what happens to food after it is produced. How is it preserved? Because we are wasting resources to actually produce the food, and then in the end they go waste, and that is losing. So you cannot just come and preach the organic term if all of these things are happening in the loop or in the system. I don't know if I've really answered your question, but yeah, that is the best I can say about it.
Yeah,
Thank
yes,
you.
I think that is very satisfactory. If you know, some people like to look for concept and like to put in boxes, where does this one belong to? But yeah, I think to support what you have said, that you can be having organic production, but not necessarily regenerative. Regenerative fits into the concept of circular economy, but organic agriculture does not necessarily fit into circular economy. And we are projecting circular economy that abhors waste or wastage. That's what you want to see. Gumbo, you want to you want to add a few things to this?
Yeah, thank you.
What is regenerative and what is not? Yeah.
Maybe first of all, I want to speak that normally people tend to take this concept or these types of system in different names. You can find that the system of regenerative agroforestry or regenerative agriculture are the same like other kind of conservation farming systems. But the names are different countries, nationalities, or location. But when you are going to the field, the application, you will find that the application are the same, not different from one type of farming to another one. So different could be the names, but when you are going to the real implementation, you'll find that you are applying the same methodology or the same methods, whereby other part of the way they are using it. And the second suggestion with the issue of quantity and quality, maybe also we have to ask ourselves. You can find that in the season, in some season or some years, we have a lot of foods in the market. We have a lot of food in the farm. They are rotting there. They are not in the market. The main resources that we input in the farm to produce this kind of products is ending loss in the pile areas. So in the dumping stage. So that we can make so many investments, but at the end of the day, the consumption is very little. The remaining of the food is going in the waste. But when we come to the conservation of this kind of regenerative agriculture, we want to make sure that even the remaining of the food that you can get lost to the dumping area can be used once again as a compost, so that they can be back to the farm and they nourish the soil. But we have to ask ourselves, every year we are insisting people to use these chemical fertilizers, the pesticides, the fungicide, but we still have hunger in our continent. We have less production and people, they are dying with hunger. But we are in the same production methodologies. We are using fertilizers, we are using machineries, we are using chemicals, we are using pesticide, but at the end of the day, we are getting less production, less harvest. Why? So maybe it's a time for all of us to ask again, why is this happening? Why we are using this kind of chemicals, the machinery, but we are getting less harvest?
Yes, thank you very much, distinguished panelists. I think that's much we can take today. Let me take this opportunity to thank everybody and to commend the activity that's already going on, even in the chat room. Somebody asked about the similarity between regenerative agriculture and integrated agriculture, and I think responses have been provided. Thank you very much. And let me take announcements before I thank my distinguished panelists again and all the participants. As I said, this program is anchored by, okay, somebody is saying thank you. I thought there's a question again. This program is anchored by Images Initiative. Images Initiative is Interconnections for Making Africa Great, Empowered, Sustainable initiative, and as is the one that facilitates the network of Africa Circular Economy Research and Policy Network. It's a network that everybody should belong to. If you are not yet a member of the network, just go to our website, or you can just type Africa Circular Economy Research and Policy Network. It will link you to our platform for registration and automatically become a member. It's free of charge. We do everything, almost everything for free. So because we want to encourage good practice in the continent. The other information I want to pass across is that we have a conference that is coming up in May, precisely May 11 to 13 at the University of Ibadan. But it's a hybrid conference. It will be both hosted online and physically at the University of Ibadan. So you can join us via Zoom or YouTube as we are having today. So at the appropriate time, please go to the website and register. You may submit an abstract because we have extended submission of abstract till end of this month. Otherwise, you can still participate as somebody without presentation. You can also come out, you can also do exhibition. You can showcase your activities of your organization, as we have done for Footprints Africa today and Amber Coffee. We welcome like minds, those people who are working in the same space, to come together and let's share this information to emancipate our continent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you permit me, I would like you, and you probably agree with me, that we have listened to insightful presentation from our distinguished panelists. Let me thank Gumba Majubwa from Tanzania, all the way from Tanzania. I wanted to say Asante Sana. Thank you very much for your lucid insights into what you do. You have come from the practical point of view. It's not theory this time around. That actions on the ground to show what you do. So we commend what you do, and we wish you the very best as you work with your team. And if you have any programs, we are also free to invite us we will share on our platform. People around that area can join you if you want to be people to be there physically or to join online. We work together. We are brothers and sisters in the continent. So thank you very much. And do extend, we know you work with a team, a solid team. So extend our regards to your team and networks. Also, I want to seize this opportunity to thank Deborah Nate. I say Mama Hawa earlier. I learned that from somebody. I wanted to say, I wanted to know how to say that in Fanti, since I know you are from Cape Coast of Ghana. Thank you. Somebody say, yeah, this young lady, you know so much. Yes, because she's an analyst, she's a researcher, she has all the information on the tips of her fingers. So Deborah, we appreciate you dearly. And we thank you for facilitating this. And to say that Deborah helped us to also get Kumba. So Deborah, we appreciate you. Keep doing the good work you are doing. And I don't want to say you have places to go. I also want to appreciate Google Wana. We started this together about 6 months ago or earlier, and we are happy to make it a reality today. So, and it's been a good outing for all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, we appreciate, if you have not come, we won't have had this robust discussion. So we appreciate your participation. And just to say that we will share the presentation as some people have requested. We do always share our presentation from our webinars. So if you need that, you can contact me via my WhatsApp. I will share via my WhatsApp or email. Somebody should put my email there somewhere. It's waleolayide@yahoo.com. I will share via email. But more importantly, I can also share. Let me put my WhatsApp number. Maybe that's easier for most people now. Most people are on WhatsApp. So let me see if I can do that to everyone. Yeah. Okay. It is +234. Let me see. I can do that quickly. Yes. Sorry. Yes. 234. Okay, there you have my WhatsApp number, +234 803-5973449. So just say hi to me on WhatsApp and say kindly share today's presentations with me, and I will do that almost immediately. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having all of us, and on behalf of the board of Images Initiative, I thank you all for your esteemed participation, and bye-bye from us. I would like you to share your camera. We would like to say, to share, to our family picture. Everybody, can you turn on your camera? Shokwe, are you there? Kindly take the screenshot, please. Or take photo now. You may wish to smile.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you taking the photo already, the screenshots, please?
In a
Everybody,
moment.
turn your camera, please. Let's see your face. Turn your camera. Let's see your face. Okay. Have you captured everybody so we can leave?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, on behalf of everybody, Prof. Thank you. Asante sana. Have a great day and bye-bye, everybody. Yes.
Asante sana, karibu sana Tanzania.
Yes, please.
Merci.
You're welcome. How was school?